We can be anything we want to be. Positivity. Today we are with Kelly, and Kelly, of course, is with the Lewis and Clark Foundation. She's in charge of sales and special events. Kelly, thanks for joining us today.
It's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Kelly, give us a little background on you. Where'd you grow up? Talk a little bit about your family and your career.
Okay, well, actually, I am from Canada, so I am Canadian, and I've had the pleasure of working with the foundation for just about 4 years now. Of course, special events marketing and PR has been a long time love and passion. I've been doing that for over 30 years. I have a wonderful husband of 25 years, and I have three beautiful daughters. And one of those beautiful daughters is any day now about to give me my very first grandbaby,
Ooh,
a little boy. Yes.
nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm very excited.
Yeah, I would be too.
Hmm. I hear you're supposed to love them and it's just wonderful and you spoil them rotten. That's what I've heard. So I'm looking forward to
That's what
that.
they say. That's exactly what they say. Absolutely. Very cool. Well, good. Let's jump into your position with the Lewis and
Sure.
Clark Foundation. I'm actually just dead bloodline related to Meriwether Lewis, so I'm interested in this. And yeah, so give us a little background of what you guys do, and let's talk.
Okay, well, the Lewis and Clark Foundation was actually has been around for a little while now, and we are the funding arm for the Lewis and Clark Interpretive Center. That means we do different things to help support the different educational and interpretive programs, as well as upgrades to the facility itself. And we're here to support them in whatever area that they need. So we have a very great relationship between us and, of course, the new center director, Dwayne Bouchai, who is just an outstanding gentleman who has a great passion and love for the Interpretive Center. And we work seamlessly together to ensure that we're able to meet the needs of the center throughout the entire year.
Who does your center serve? What's your demographic?
Well, of course, we have our local community, but we serve well over 1,000 visitors every year from we are part of a Montana experience, which is, of course, they do Glacier, they do Yellowstone, they come here, they do the CM Russell. So we are part of that Montana experience. And again, our visitors literally come from all over the world. So we've got quite a demo, actually. But of course, for day to day, we of course serve our community of Great Falls and surrounding.
Okay, very good. Your audio got really, really quiet. Did your mic get covered up by accident?
Let me see here. One sec.
Okay.
That's a little bit better.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Very good. All right, so let's jump into your role with the center and the foundation, and talk a little bit about really, I mean, the diversity that you have and the things that you offer. Let's talk about your role, but let's really talk about the importance of what your center does.
Well, as I said, we are the funding arm for the Interpretive Center. So one of the vehicles that we use to help raise funds is we have a gift shop. And of course, being a federal entity, they can't fundraise for themselves. They can't own a gift shop. So the foundation runs a gift shop that is, of course, open all year round. And we sell different items that, of course, directly relate to the Lewis and Clark expedition and things of Montana, so on and so forth. So that is one way we help support them. As well, we have one major fundraiser a year, and that, of course, is our trail mixer auction. And this year, for 2025, we are so excited to celebrate our 20th trail mixer auction. And we have so many wonderful and amazing things. The support we see is absolutely outstanding. We actually have bidders from all over the country who come, and this is sort of their way to celebrate. This is their way to support us and they do that through the auction. So that's one of the other ways that we help raise funds. We also help with other supplemental events. Our big one, of course, is the Lewis and Clark Festival, which takes place in June. So you have an opportunity to step back to 1805 and experience a little bit of Lewis and Clark. We have it right here at the facility, so you get to go down to River Camp, you get to explore the trails, you get to see how a bull boat is made, you get to see how they used to make wheels and play with the atlatl. And so we have a lot of amazing volunteers who have a great deal of experience in each of these areas, and they give of their time and their talents. They come on out, they set up for the day. And of course, it is absolutely free to the general public. There is no charge. And so people can just come and experience the day, experience being a little bit of Lewis and Clark, and of course, see what it was all about. Now, of course, during all of this time, we found that we would just really want to be a community leader and we want to do more things for our community. So I came up with a couple of other supplemental events that we do here at the center. One of them is our Halloween Spooktacular, and that is, again, just a free community event. Come on out, have some fun. This year was just outstanding. We had over 1,520 people show up in costume, dressed, ready to have some fun and just spend a day here at the center. We create a special craft area. We had a costume contest with over 143 children entered. And then, of course, we showed a great movie in the theater, Hocus Pocus for the kids. And so it was just a wonderful day to come on out, have some fun. Of course, you know, costumes are so expensive. At least now they got to wear it more than once. So it was kind of fun that way.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
talk a little bit about it. It sounds like you're really focused on becoming a central hub for your community. It's got to be a benefit for you because obviously, if a museum or a foundation or an art center is not active in their community, it's not a destination that people are going to go to on a regular basis unless there's a reason to go. And it sounds like you're very proactive in reaching out to your community and providing them. It really sounds like you're an entertainment hub as I'm listening to you.
We really are. And we absolutely love that. We love being a part of our community. We love offering so many different things to our community. And we just are constantly amazed and delighted and thrilled with the amount of support that we get from, as I said, people all over the world. And they like coming here and they like to experience Lewis and Clark in their own way. And our center is absolutely outstanding. And it takes you from the very beginning of the expedition all the way through to the end. So you get to see the whole thing. And it just provides so many opportunities, especially for the children. They really get to understand, have some fun, and learn a lot about Lewis and Clark.
Yeah, no, absolutely. As you look ahead to the future, what are some ways that you're looking to grow or expand?
Well, we're trying to keep up with the center. They are just doing such a wonderful job, and with the guests and the visitors that they bring in, we are just delighted to be there to help and to service each of our guests when they come in to visit, show them all that the Interpretive Center has to offer. And then, of course, look at the needs of the guests and the visitors that come through. What programs can we provide? What things can we do to make your time with us that much more special? So we're always looking to do those kinds of things. The center does a Trim the Tree event where they invite all of the children and all of the community to come out and be a part of it. And we do our Kids Secret Shopping Days the same time. So again, more community opportunities, more opportunities for our community to come out and join us and just be a part of us and just be a part of what Lewis and Clark is all about.
Fantastic. How do people find out more about what you're doing there?
Well, that's really easy. They can go to www.lewisandclarkfoundation.org or they can call 406-452-5661.
That's perfect. Kelly, thanks for being on with us today.
It is my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Hey, thanks everybody for joining us today. We are with Charlotte. Charlotte, I'm going to let you introduce the title of your event because it's so long and it confuses me. So I'm just going to let you have it. Charlotte, thanks for joining us.
Sure. So it's the Montana Cowboy Poetry Gathering and Western Music Rendezvous.
See, I would have messed that up for sure. That's awesome. Well, thanks, Charlotte, for joining us. Give us a little background on you. Where'd you grow up? Talk a little bit about your family and your career.
I actually am a Montana native, grew up about 100 miles north of Lewistown near the Bears Paw Mountains. Grew up on a ranch, ended up in Reno for about 20 years, back to Montana, kind of always had a career in customer service and organizing and fixing things, and finally led to my involvement in the gathering. I do the bookkeeping, and for the first few years, I did all the performer schedules. So we've got like 70 performers that come, and I registered and scheduled them. And then last year was the first year that I was the actual gathering director.
Well,
So,
paint the picture for us. If we've never been there, I never have. So what do people experience? What's it like?
so it's 4 days of kind of like a big family reunion. It's a really cool event. Great people come. We start out Thursday night with a dinner and an hour and a half show. It's kind of a welcoming dinner for the performers. And then that's typically about, we can only sell 200 tickets to that event. That's as large as venue as we've got for that. And then all day Friday and Saturday, we have 5 listening rooms going. Like I say, 70 performers, musicians, poets. Some rooms are poetry only, some are music only, but it's a very busy 2 days. Friday night we have a jam and dance featuring the musicians that are there all day Friday and Saturday. And then Saturday night we have our headliner concert. We usually open with some of the regular performers, and then we have a highlighted performer. We've had Baxter Black, Red Steagle, Dave Stamey's a big hit. Last year we had R.W. Hampton. For 2025, we've got Kristen Harrison. So then Sunday, we have Cowboy Church. So it's a 4-day event.
That's incredible. The names that you mentioned, they're in the back of my Western Horseman magazine all the time. So I at least knew who you were talking about with your headliners. That's fantastic. Charlotte, what do you think? What do you think makes this event special?
Um, this is our 39th gathering in 2025. We've been going for 40 years, since 1986. Several of the Central Montana poets showed up at the 1985 National Cowboy Poetry Gathering in Elko, and they came home and said, you know what, we could do this at home. So Gwen Peterson and John Drivdahl set up the Cowboy Poetry Gathering in Big Timber. When it outgrew Big Timber after about 8 or 10 years, it came to Lewistown. And we've now outgrown the local hotel convention center, and our event is held at the high school. So it's grown every year. Some of the people that are still coming were at the original event in 1986. So everybody knows everyone. We've got performers from Florida, Texas, all over the United States, Hawaii. And then we also have a real good Canadian showing every year. Anywhere from 10 to 12 Canadian performers come. And it's just kind of like old home week.
Yeah.
It's a real relaxed atmosphere, and everybody's happy.
No, that's fantastic. What do you feel like the importance of this event is to your community in your area?
It's a significant event. We obviously are selling out a lot of hotels for 3 or 4 days. Good business for the restaurants and the other stores. It, I think, really helps put Lewistown on the map, which it's a great place to live. It's right smack dab in the middle of Montana, surrounded by mountains. It's a beautiful place to visit. And the event involves a lot of the community between the high school partnership. We have events at the Elks Club. So we also have the Charlie Russell Choo Choo train that runs on Sunday afternoon, and there's performers on the train, so that's always a big hit too. So that it draws a lot of the community together.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Gosh, Charlotte, you've been a part of this for a long time now, and have seen it grown. What do you want to see for the future?
I think just a continuation of the good feeling that people get when they come to our gathering. Promoting the cowboy way of life and trying to preserve and hang on to that as much as we can. One of our real challenges is involving youth. So we try multiple things to get more young people involved in the gathering. And we're starting to see a little bit of fruition there. But we've Lewistown is only so big, our high school is only so big, so we may not get a whole lot bigger, but I think just maintaining the quality of performers.
Yeah.
We also have a great trade show, so the quality of our vendors that come.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be very advantageous. If you gave advice to someone else who was putting on an event like this, maybe getting started, really wanted to see it become something traditional, what advice would you give them?
Oh boy. Surround yourself with lots of good people. This event has always had a real good board of directors that runs it. For a real long time, Karen Kuhlman was the gathering director, and great hand at hosting and putting on a show. So I've learned from some very good people. People on our board work really hard. We've got really good volunteers. So it takes a real crew to put it together and hold it together.
Yeah, I love that. Very good. Very good. Well, Charlotte, thanks for joining us today. Thanks for sharing your expertise. Thanks for sharing about your event, and we look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, the next gathering is August 7th through 10th, 2025 in Lewistown. So we're always the second weekend in August, and there's lots of good things to see and do in Montana.
Perfect. Thanks so much for joining us, Charlotte. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Hey, we're with Eloise Tomley today. She's with the Ballyhoo Festival. She's in Georgia today. Eloise, thanks for joining us. Give us a little background on you. Where'd you grow up? Talk a little bit about your family.
I grew up in Kentucky. I have 6 siblings, 3 brothers and 3 sisters. After growing up in Kentucky, I moved to Alabama, went to school there, and got in radio. So I spent 40 years in radio on my own company, Tomley Broadcasting Company, a licensee of WLDX in Fayette, Alabama. And after selling that company, I became involved in just giving my work to the community, which I've done for so many years. And I chaired a festival in Fayette, Alabama for 25 years. And it was a fine art and fine craft festival with a lot of music and food and children's activities. And then moved to Orange Beach, Alabama, and created a festival there. Was there for 6 years and built that one up to a really large event. Then moved over to Gulf Shores and started the Ballyhoo Festival. Now that festival is different from the others that I created. This festival is a juried fine art and fine craft festival with emphasis on culture. So the culture that we have on Saturday is the indigenous people of Alabama. The only federally recognized tribe in the state of Alabama is the Poarch Creek Indians, and they've been with us for, well, this will be 11 years, March 1st and 2nd. They perform original tribal dance in their ceremonial regalia. They give the history, telling us how they stayed in Alabama during the Trail of Tears, and they've been there for over 160 years in the Porch community near Atmore, Alabama. And on the second day of the Ballyhoo Festival, our culture is with early Americana Appalachian music in the form of a fiddle and banjo competition. And we have fiddlers and banjo players picking and grinning from just about everywhere around us. Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, they all come in and compete for prize money. So it's just a jolly good time.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. Talk about the importance of this event to your community.
I think the importance of it is to bring, of course, our main focus is on juried fine art and fine craft. We have some of the best in the Southeast. Last year, we had 175 applicants from 24 states, so it continues to grow. So that's the main focus. But for me, truly, I think bringing a different culture to the coast, which is not already there, is something that no one else does.
Yeah.
So that is what we do. I mean, you do not find many fiddle and banjo competitions or bluegrass music competitions there on the coast.
Yeah.
It's mostly other kinds of music. And we are also connected with Floribama and the Frank Brown International Songwriters Festival. They're the ones who sponsor the fiddle and banjo competition. So we're very happy to have them joining with us. And that's what I think brings so many people out, is the fact that we're combining fine art and fine culture and fine craft with culture. And it draws so many people. Our last number, I think, was around 20,000 for our area, and we're very proud of that.
Yeah, I'm sure the local businesses there have got to be very happy to have you as you come through there.
We partner with us.
What's one of your greatest memories, Eloise, of the event?
Oh, one of my funniest memories is when we first started out, we had a queen of Ballyhoo, and we kind of discarded that after a little while. But I ordered some coveralls, and I didn't know what size to order, and I ordered some that were 10 times too big for me. And so I was going to come out as one of the entries, and I blackened my front two teeth. And Darwin Singleton, who is an anchor for NBC 15 in Mobile, Alabama, when I came out, he laughed so hard when he saw me that he couldn't talk. And I was smiling. And of course, I didn't have my two front teeth, and I had on these big overalls that were way too big for me. So we had a time carrying on after that because he could hardly talk. So that's a fun memory.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's perfect. I guess the biggest question today that I'm going to have is, how do people find out more information about Ballyhoo?
They can go to ballyhoofestival.com. Anybody who wants to become a part of it, it is a juried fine art event, and they can apply at ballyhoofestival.com. And that should take them straight to Zapplication, which is our process for applying, for artists applying. And any fiddle and banjo player can go to ballyhoofestival.com, and there is an application for them to apply there. Okay.
Very good. Very good. Well, thank you for sharing with us today, Eloise. I appreciate it very, very much.
You're so very welcome, JG. And I really appreciate your asking me. And thank you for your show.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk soon.
Sorry,
Hey, we're with Alice Mader today. She's with the Sedona Hummingbird Festival. Alice, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's jump in here. Let's talk a little bit about you first. Give us a little background on you. Where'd you grow up? Talk a little bit about your family and your friends.
Well, I grew up in Northern California, just outside of what is now Silicon Valley. At the time, it was very rural, and we did have a lot of hummingbirds in our garden. I didn't know what kind they were, but I always thought they were pretty cool, and I enjoyed spending lots of time outdoors, exploring the natural environment.
Okay. All
And
right. So yeah, no, absolutely.
and I met
Go ahead.
my husband in San Francisco, and we lived in the Bay Area for a few years, and then it was getting very crowded, wanted to find a place that had more space for our son and our Bernese mountain dog, and ended up in Sedona way back in 1994. So we are real old timers for this town, which is very transient town.
Okay. All right. Now let's jump into the festival because I'm sure I mean, obviously it's unique. I have these visions of my mom has a hummingbird feeder mask helmet that she wears. And anyways, I'm sure it's way beyond that, but that's the image that I have in my head. So create this picture for us. Exactly what is the Hummingbird Festival? When is it? And really just, build that picture. What's it look like?
Well, it always takes place the last weekend in July, and it's here in Sedona. So you have the beautiful red rock background for all the activities that take place during the festival. And it's all our marketplace. We have a marketplace and presentations, and all that takes place in the Sedona Performing Arts Center, which is a really beautiful facility. Again, with the red rocks in the background. We put up feeders that all during hummingbird season, so that during the festival, there are a lot of hummingbirds right there at what we call Hummingbird Central. We have this year we had about 900 attendees, so it's a pretty active festival. And the garden tours go to local gardens that have plants that attract hummingbirds and that have a lot of hummingbirds. So people love our garden tours. This year there were 6 gardens, and we'll have 6 gardens again next year. We have a photo contest. So because you can see hummingbird photos online, but we wanted to have photos that people could really stare at and enjoy live.
Yeah.
And then we also have early morning birding trips, so people can go see some of the other birds here in Sedona. There's something like 270 species that come through the Birdie Valley. This is an area really rich in bird life. And let's see. And so the heart of the festival. So the festival is a place where people come to celebrate hummingbirds, but also to learn about them. I kind of think of it like HummyCon. It's like a hummingbird lovers convention. And it's sort of unique in the intense focus on hummingbirds. There are other hummingbird festivals, but a lot of their talks are more general about birding. But ours, we do 12 to 14 talks, and all but maybe one of them are about hummingbirds. It's about hummingbird photography, gardening for hummingbirds, where to travel to see hummingbirds, hummingbird conservation, and hummingbird spirituality, because so many people who love hummingbirds have a spiritual connection with them. And so we usually have a speaker on a different facet of that.
Let's talk community for a second here. Let's talk about the economic impact that this has on your community. You've done a great job describing the event. So let's talk about economic impact. How many people come into the town, and how long are they there?
Well, we have found that about 70% of the attendees come from out of town. So probably about 500 or 600. And we have found that a lot, and they come from, this year it was 30 different states and 3 different countries. And so a lot of them, they may be on the internet kind of looking at Sedona and saying, oh, what can I do there? And they come across the Hummingbird Festival. And they say, oh, I'm going to go to the Hummingbird Festival and combine it with a visit to Sedona. So people do spend to plan, they kind of plan a family vacation around attending the festival. So maybe a week, several
Oh,
days to a
wow.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's huge. Talk about your role in this.
So I'm the executive director of the Hummingbird Society. I have been in this role for 1 year. So I have one festival that I've directed under my belt. But the festival, we've had 10. We're coming up on our 11th. And last year, which was the first one I directed, was actually the 7th one I attended. So I had, after my first festival, I was completely hooked. And that is a somewhat common experience. I don't know if I said, one of the things we do is hummingbird banding. And that involves capturing, so we have, people can go and watch it, and the certified, licensed hummingbird banders, they capture a hummingbird and put an identification band on it. And then a spectator is given the opportunity to release it. So they place the hummingbird in their hand and they get to release it. And so in my first year, I did that. And I felt the hummingbird's heart, which feels like a toy motor. It's going so fast. And that experience changes so many people's lives, including mine. I saw a quote one recently that, holding a hummingbird, that's an opportunity to hold a miracle in your hand. They're such amazing creatures, and they're facing hardships, the same hardships that all wildlife is facing, but they are pollinators. So the loss of habitat, the loss of wildflowers, the loss of the insect population, which you may or may not know is crashing, all affects them. And so our society is working really hard to find different ways to support them. And the Hummingbird Festival is one way to engage people in the love and excitement over hummingbirds, just like it did for me. After letting one go, you're hooked.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun. Everybody there is happy. I mean, because when you look at a hummingbird, you have to smile, right? And so everybody is just having a wonderful time, enjoying hummingbirds and sharing that love of hummingbirds with each other.
If you're not a hummingbird enthusiast, are there other activities going on?
Well, there is the Hummingbird Marketplace.
Okay.
But I think after you walk onto the festival site, you become a hummingbird enthusiast. There's lots of hummingbirds right there because of the feeders.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic.
And it's free to walk onto the site. It's free to come to the marketplace. It's free to see the hummingbirds at the feeders and everything.
What are some visions of the future that you guys have?
We want to grow the marketplace. We have about 25 vendors, all selling hummingbird art, gifts, supplies, and we'll probably add more field trips. Oh, we also have workshops on photography and art, and we'll expand that. We have a dinner that's a lot of fun. So just have more attendees, more vendors. The other thing we started last year was we had the local dance academy give a dance performance, and that was really fun. And having some more local performers would be great. We also have a kids, see, there's so much going on, I keep forgetting. We also have a kids day on Saturday. And so if you're not a particular hummingbird enthusiast, we had a reptile sanctuary come, and the kids loved handling the snakes. We had rescue screech owl. They're very small screech owls that people could visit with, and crafts, food, of course, and face painting, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. How many
Plus-
other hummingbird festivals are you familiar with? I'm curious.
Well, this is the only one I've attended. Now, online, I've looked at, I don't know, 4 or 5.
Okay.
The biggest one, other than ours, and they're actually bigger than ours, is the Rockport Hummingbird Festival in Texas. But ours has more hummingbird presentations.
Everything's bigger in Texas. That's what they say, right? They can't.
No, it's bigger here.
Yeah, they can't be let down from that. That's funny. Very good. Very good. No, that's great. Well, you're the first one that we've come across, and it sounds like it's a niche, but there's a lot of passion behind it. And so I think getting the word out through a podcast like this and other interviews across the country will do that. Alice, how do they find out more information about your event?
Go to SedonaHummingbirdFestival.com. Let me just double check on the .com.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
I understand. Yeah. Very good, very good. Alice,
Yes.
anything else you want to include?
Sedona is a beautiful place to visit. We have 8 different kinds of hummingbirds here, and it's just a wonderful, fun time to see
Not
and
all
explore.
hummingbirds are the same, huh?
Oh, no, no.
That's perfect. Perfect. Alex, thanks for being on with us today. I appreciate it greatly.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I really enjoyed it.
Appreciate it. Hey guys, we have Pam Landis. She's with the Gator Fly-In there in Florida. Pam, thanks for joining us.
Hey, my pleasure. Good to see you.
Pam, give us, for the listeners that weren't on last year, give us a little background of who you are and where you came from.
Okay. My name's Pam Landis. I am with the University Air Center here in Gainesville, Florida. I am a helicopter pilot, and I run a helicopter and fixed wing flight school here in Gainesville. And we put on every year the Gator Fly-In, which is just an awesome event to bring all sorts of people here and just have a really great day and introduce a lot of people to aviation. So I'm a Gainesville native, have lived here most of my life with a few years down in South Florida, but love Gainesville.
Talk about the Gator Fly-In. How long has it been going on?
This is going to be our 9th year, so which is amazing, and it's hard to believe we're talking about 2025.
Now, the name implies that a lot of people are going to fly in. So describe your event for us.
Sure. Well, the Gator Fly-In and Armed Services Appreciation Day. This is a day that is all about our military, but about aviation. It's a day that we bring the community to our airport and introduce them to what aviation has, from military to civilian. Yes, it is welcome for anybody to fly in. You can drive in. We just invite everybody and anybody to come. It's a free event, so people can come and actually get into aircraft that they've never been able to get into before. Military aircraft are here. We usually have some really big aircraft here, so people get to go in and touch, taste, smell, feel the whole 9 yards and have a really good time, and get to talk to pilots and get to talk to flight operations and to air traffic controllers and just anybody that has something to do with aviation. We have our sheriff's department here, and they bring their helicopter. And we have our fire department here. They bring out all of their equipment for what they need here on the airport to deal with any type of aviation issues. So it's really cool. It's an all-encompassing day for anybody that comes out to the airport.
I love it. I love it. What's all right? Let's just hit this from the beginning. What's your favorite aircraft?
Well, I'm a helicopter pilot, so I'm a little swayed when it comes to favorite aircraft. Really, the Dolphin that is being flown by the Coast Guard, that is one of my favorites. And we usually have them here, but anything that has rotors, it just gives me goosebumps.
That's funny. That's funny. Okay, what are you most proud about at this event?
Our military and how we get to just honor them. It is such a pleasure to be able to just love on our military, to honor them, to bring them to this, to just be part of this day, to show them that the community loves them so much. And so that's really what has always made this show a little bit different for me. But this year, our event is actually, we have a theme each year, and this year's theme is about space. And we actually have a alumni from the University of Florida, go Gators, here that has actually been just in space. So we are going to have an astronaut here to speak, which is super cool. And we have SpaceX and Blue Origin that have said that they're going to bring out some items for people to see. So not only is this about our military, but this year we really get to really talk a lot more about Space Force, which is, one of our newest branches of our service. And so we really get to honor them and showcase them.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure you've been to other events. What's something that your event has that you wish you would see at other places across the country?
Oh, wow, that's a really good question. Well, I know that we do helicopter rides and airplane rides, which most other shows will do, but we're also very fortunate that we have a P-51 Mustang, like this one that's right back here on the picture. We get P-51s that come in and do rides, and that is just something that you usually don't get to see very often, because there's so few of them that are still flying, but it's so iconic when it comes to our military, because
Yeah.
obviously the P-51s were flown in the World War II.
Oh man, that's crazy good. What are
Yeah.
some things as you look ahead to the future that you'd like to add to your event?
It's funny because every year we get to, do a different type of theme. And so this one being all about space, this was really one of the things that I was really excited about doing this year. And, next year we've talked about, some other themes. And, every year it's just somebody will come up to me and say, "Hey, have you thought about X, Y, or Z?" And it's like, wow, what a great idea. So, you know, I, I always just love that our community is what helps us put things together and gives us ideas. So there's something out there, I'm sure, for next year that I just haven't thought about yet, but our community will bring it to the table.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's perfect. Um, Talk about your staff, the manpower that it takes to run this event. Give them a little shout out.
My staff is the most amazing staff anywhere around. I have a whole group of flight instructors that are here during the day doing rides. I have all of University Air Center. We're about 100 employees here, and every single one of them come out and they work for security, they work for cleanup, they work for making sure that people get in and get moved in. We have a company that drives a bus around to make sure that people get from any of the parking areas in. We have Civil Air Patrol that's here that helps with parking. We have our local high school that's here that does the color guard. We have the ROTC from the University of Florida that does the national anthem. And the people that come and sing the national anthem for us are all retired military. The people that come, I just got goosebumps thinking about this year. We have Mary Jo Wheeler, who is a retired Air Force lady, and she is coming in to sing. She was here 2 years ago. I was crying like a baby by the end of the national anthem. It was so amazing. And, it takes literally a village to put this together, because we have about 10,000 people that come into this event through the community. And it literally takes our entire village. We have all of our airport people that work the event, from our groundskeepers to our ops people. Everybody is here. Everybody spends the day here. Everybody gets excited and is just so honored to be able to showcase what we do out here at the airport.
Talk about the airport itself. We didn't hit on that last year. Is it a functional operational airport throughout the year? And what is it usage there?
Yes. Gainesville Airport, it's a regional airport. We have 2 main runways here. We have Delta and American that come in, multiple flights every day. We've had Silver Airways come through. They're kind of on a fall off break right now, but we usually have Silver Airways here. We have, it is a full-time operational airport. Plus, we also have the general aviation side, which is we're 24/7. So anybody that has an airplane and wants to fly in, stop and get food, go to some of our local restaurants, they can get courtesy cars. We have a full line staff that will bring fuel in, take care of all of them. The line staff people are just amazing. So we just have such an incredible team here, and we're 24/7. So the airport is here all the time.
Talk real quick. 9 years, that's a good length of event. You've got past that first make or break year or two. That 5-year mark really sets you and establishes an event to continue. What's been the key to your success?
The people that are here. We truly, every single person that works here at the airport or at University Air Center believes in what we do, and they really do shine. They take care of, when our customers come in, they take care of them. And that just brings our customers back. But it's really truly about the people that are here. My flight instructors are amazing. It's the reason why we are such a successful flight school. So it is just one of those, I am just so proud of the team and everybody that works here.
I love it. I love it. Pam, how do people find out more information about the Gator Fly-In? They
can call me at 352-416-0787, or they can email us. But we have a Facebook page. It is the Gator Fly-In and Armed Services Appreciation Day.
I'm gonna feel really bad if you get a lot of phone calls and you get nothing done with your day but talking on the phone.
Bring it on.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Very good. Thanks for joining us, Pam. I appreciate it.
Jake, I appreciate you. Good seeing you. Take care.
Hey, thanks everybody for joining us today, the Live Music Nation podcast. Today I am with Barnett English. He is with the Joshua Tree Music Festival just outside of the national park. And man, Barnett, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for taking time out to chat about all things music and festivals.
Absolutely. Give us a little background on you. Where'd you grow up? Talk about your career and your family.
Yeah, I was born and raised in the Ville, Louisville, Kentucky. Born and raised there, and went to university in Indiana. And then the second I was done with my last final, I was on my way to California. So I moved out to California, and the land of opportunities.
Talk about a hot football team right now.
Which one? Indiana, Kentucky?
Indiana, yeah.
Okay, cool. See, I'm not paying attention.
Yeah, undefeated right now.
Get out. I'm gonna have to get my red outfit on this fall. But yeah, I've been in California for a long time, and I've always loved music. I'm a music junkie. I was collecting albums starting at the age of 10 with my brother. We'd go to Sears Roebucks and split an album for $5. And made 600 mixed tapes or more all through the 80s, 90s, and mixed CDs once I got rid of tapes. And so I've always loved music. And then I started a coffee business. And then I went to a music festival to sell coffee. And that was 30 summers ago. And I realized this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So, get to listen to great music. I met a lot of people that very first weekend that are still my good friends. And make a couple of bucks. So, but then I came across this Joshua Tree campground outside of the park. And I mentioned to the gal who owns the place, Sally, I said, "Hey, Sally, you should have a music festival here." And she said, "Well, if you're so smart, why don't you do it yourself?" So I took the dare, and I started a music festival with being incredibly naive. I thought it'd be easy. And but here we are 22 years later.
Wow.
We've had it twice a year. So we've had 41 of them. Two of those.
Wow.
So I'm in deep in the music festival scene and business, and just love the community around it.
Talk about your passion to start your own, and not only your passion, but what was the final straw for you to jump in and say, because it's a lot of work, and I know you knew that going in.
Yeah.
What was the thing that pushed you over the top to do it?
Well, I'm a big believer in, I don't recommend it for every person and every decision, but a lot of times you just got to jump in the deep end, and sink or swim. And so that's kind of how I approached this. I literally saw Joshua Tree within a week, had decided to start a music festival, moved here, had our first festival within 5 months. I figured, it's easier to go ahead and do it and make all the mistakes sooner than later, and learn as I go, and just get it going. So I just really kind of dove in. It's almost like I think there's a guy, a Harvard professor, who wrote a business book on being naive will help you get things done. You don't want to know all the answers.
Yeah, yeah. How did you avoid the legendary festival trap of a successful year or two, and then you try to take it to the next level by booking bigger acts, and then it fails because you didn't have the capital and the return on your investment? How did you avoid that?
That's a great question. It happens all the time. This year, especially 2024, the field is littered with festivals that shut down or canceled or postponed. We just really grew organically and incrementally. Just never took too big a leap. The main reason I stuck with that policy is because I've never really been funded. I've never had a lot of money to throw around. So it's made us be creative and just kind of grow as our audience grew. We'd add a stage after a few years and then slowly add another one, maybe once the crowd got bigger. But also because I've really got a keen interest in the artists that are on the rise. So artists that are under the radar, that haven't been heard, that are out there, and they're so passionate. They're so good. Being in the business, you see these folks all the time. And so we've really always catered to booking artists like that. So that's another way. I couldn't afford to pay top artists, and really, prefer not to have them because they've already got their career going. So we really focus on artists on the rise.
Look, let's talk about your funding in because I don't know how things are structured and not specific details, but what is your source of funding? How do you is it purely ticket sales? Do you have sponsorships?
Yeah, we have a little bit of sponsorship and a little bit of revenue from different vendors and a beer garden and coffee booth, and but primarily ticket sales. So the cool thing about our event is when you walk in, it's not like a sea of corporate banners and big, huge white tents. And, I think you and I, all of us, were bombarded enough with ads during the day, like a few million between our phone and our computer and the billboards. So I think it's nice. People come in and they see it's really our venue is really unique. We've built we have 5 acres there where we've been building things for 20 years now out of recycled, upcycled goods. So the venue itself is a piece of art.
Talk about how you structure your vendor setup, because you are a vendor at other festivals. Yeah. I have to imagine that you are very vendor friendly.
Absolutely. Yeah. Our vendor fees are probably the lowest for comparable festivals. So we're super friendly to the vendors. We treat them right, and we don't have too many, so that if you have too many, then none of them do well, because there's only so many dollars to spread around. So we just keep it the right size, and they're all friends of ours. So, we've worked alongside them at festivals for years, some of them for 25 years. So we treat them well. And, I go to some other festivals where you can tell, okay, this festival is 100% about making money, because the vendor fees are huge. We have to charge $20 for a blended coffee drink. That's it just that takes away a little bit from the experience. And that's probably why we're seeing some of these shut down this year. Some of the festivals is, times are tough out there, and how, I don't know how a family can go to an event, or even a couple can spend, a few $1,000 on a weekend. That's if they're conservative. It's tough.
No, absolutely. So give us a visual of your festival. You've mentioned multiple stages. Give us the visual of your festival, and then also give us a sample. Who was your lineup last year?
Yeah, gosh, a visual. It is hard to describe, but literally, like at nighttime, if you look up, there's more stars than you could count in a million years. The skies are so clear here, and it's one of the highly rated dark sky areas of the country. So it's absolutely magnificent at night. And then, as I mentioned, we've built this venue where we have 4 stages and vendor booths and a bar and a kitchen and all these little vignettes that we custom created out of recycled goods. So when you walk around, everywhere you look is artwork. And so literally thousands of hands have been laid upon this place over the last 20 years. So it is wildly unique. And But one thing we do is we keep it kind of small. We keep like our music bowl is one circle, and there's a stage at 12 o'clock and one at 9 o'clock, and we alternate and go back and forth, and we keep it together so there's not two bands playing at once. So like when you're playing, everybody is focused on you. So then we walk away with, we, the audience, we had a shared experience. And that's what really makes it special. And on Monday, when we all drive away, it's like, man, Jake and I, we both saw that drummer do a backflip off the stage, as opposed to some festivals where it's so large, you and I are having different experiences because we were at different places. So
I love you describing that setup, because as you've got one band performing, you allow the production team and the next band the time to set up, the time to get things structured. There's no downtime for your participants. That is huge at a festival. We've all been to the big mega festivals, and the downtime between setups is 30, 40, sometimes up to an hour. And you're paying this money to see these artists, but by the end of the day, by 6 o'clock, you're ready to go home.
Yeah,
because you sat and waited for so long. I love it.
I've been to a lot of large festivals, and you watch them do the turnaround on those stages. I don't even know how they do it, and they've got so many people up there that are super pro, and everything's on rollers, and it still takes an hour, or like you said. So
I love it's very obvious your success and longevity is because of your thoughtfulness. That you've thought about the artists, you've thought about the ticket buyers, you've thought about your vendors. And the last person that you haven't thought about is yourself, but you enjoy what you do. Talk about what you get out of this.
I get so much out of it. It's grown into something I never even imagined. I couldn't have fathomed. I'd been going to music festivals, and I love it. And almost all my friends are friends I have from festivals. I think that when you camp out together over the course of 3 or 4 nights, and you and I run into each other 75 times over 4 days, well, you and I are going to have more conversations and deeper conversations and better conversations in that 4-day period than we would if you and I lived down the street from each other. I guarantee you. So the connections are so life affirming and so crucial, especially for this time and age where everybody's isolated and at home and staring at their phones and not really having these analog experiences. And a lot of people have, from pandemic, the social anxiety is huge. They don't even leave their homes. They don't go out anymore, or even brave to put themselves in places. But, so I feel like that's really what our number one mission now is the social interaction and the bonding and connections that are made. We've got people that have been to our festival 40 times. So 40 weekends of their life, they brought their kids. Their kids are now grown up, they were born. So it's a lot of layers of deepness and fabulousness.
Barnett, we talked about a lot of good things here today. Let's talk about some of the challenges that you may face for the future. What are those challenges, and how are you looking to tackle them?
Man, the challenges are always it's always a miracle financially that we can pull this off. I literally will be counting every penny up until the weekend of the festival, going, well, gosh, I hope we sell one more ticket that'll cover everything. So that stress is real. So living with that is real. But we've, like you mentioned before, we try to keep it, the ticket price is reasonable. We try to keep the vendor fees reasonable. We're not going to start gouging, and we're not going to start, people want to get a good value. Yeah. So sticking with that is a challenge. So it's walking that fine line of going out of business and staying in business. But so far, so good.
Oh, fantastic. I don't want to make this too much of an advertisement, but I want to give you this opportunity. Talk about the dates of when your festival is. How do people find out more information? Give us your website, your socials, those things.
Yeah, thank you so much. We have a festival every May and every October. So we just had one, not this past weekend, the weekend before. So it'll be May 15 through 18 and October 9 through 12 of 2025. It's hard to believe we're looking at 2025 now.
Right.
And then all the information is on our website, joshuatreemusicfestival.com. And it's I think one thing I didn't really point out is, we're so unique in that we really strive to have families there. There's over 500 kids running around at the festival last weekend. So, a lot of festivals say that they're family friendly, but when you get there, it's really not. It's just, it's not safe. It's too loud. It's too this. It's just not. you know, so we really, Kidsville is kind of the center of our festival. It's the heartbeat of it. So I think that really sets us apart. And you know, it's amazing. I think just because you have kids doesn't mean you don't love music anymore.
Right. 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 Absolutely.
Very
Very
true.
good. Very good. Barnett, I appreciate you being on with us today.
Thank you so much, Jake. I appreciate it too. I appreciate your interest in our festival and the music side of things, and I wish you all the best with your career.
No, thank you very much.
Good.
Guys, we are with Charlie Whidden, and she's with Big Ben Rodeo. Charlie, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Charlie, give us a little background on you. Where'd you grow up? Talk a little bit about your family and your private life, and then let's jump into the rodeo.
Sure, sounds good. So I am from a very small town in North Florida. It's called Havana. It's in Gadsden County, which is a really neat rural county. My county also borders some Georgia counties. So we're North Florida, South Georgia, South Alabama, all comes together. But I grew up here. I'm now raising my family here. My husband and I have 2 boys that junior rodeo, so they keep us on our toes. And we are going all over the Southeast, wherever we can go, entering them up and having a good time living that life.
Did you grow up with a rodeo background?
So I got a rodeo background. So I did not come from a rodeo family. I came from a family who appreciated the agriculture life, and a family who supported me whenever they learned that horses were a little more than a phase. I grew up doing barrel races, local shows, small rodeos, that sort of thing. And then I was blessed to be Miss Rodeo Florida of 2005, so just a few years ago. So I was able to enter, and I got to travel not only my home state, which I love dearly, but the nation, and represent the sport of professional rodeo and the Western way of life. So I competed at the Miss Rodeo America pageant for 2006. And that was a big foundation point for me, boosting into my adult career life. So it was a very awesome opportunity that I did not expect to have.
Ah, that's fantastic. I love that. That's perfect. All right, Big Ben Rodeo. Let's jump into this. Let's give people a visual. If they've never been to this particular rodeo, what is this rodeo like visually?
So our rodeo is held right here in Gadsden County, Quincy, Florida. Again, we're a small hometown, but we bring big excitement and big atmosphere with our annual rodeo. Our rodeo is held at our extension office grounds, where we have a monthly horse show. And that monthly horse show kind of grew into something bigger when we knew we wanted to share the love that many of our members have for the sport of rodeo. And that Western way of life. And we knew we wanted to share it with our community. So one night, standing around a bonfire, we decided we needed to make it happen. And we just hosted our 6th annual Big Ben Rodeo in August.
Very good. Very good. All right. Now, you described it not as a big rodeo, but you're probably, comparison of Cheyenne or national finals or things like that. So talk about the benefits of your rodeo as an organization from your community. And then I want to talk about the benefits of the rodeo towards your community. So let's go back from that. What do you guys draw from your community for this rodeo?
So what we want from our community is open minds to come and to see professional rodeo cowboys and cowgirls performing what they know how to do really well. So we're hoping to bring in folks who maybe don't have any rodeo knowledge, as well as those folks who do have a rodeo knowledge, so they can come and appreciate. We're hoping to gain or to continue to gain the support of our local leaders. This year was a really great year in that our county really saw that for 5 years we were, as a very small horsemen's association, able to support a professional rodeo right here in our backyard. And they saw that the community really wanted it, and the community has looked forward to it every year. So for us, that's been really big, getting that support, but knowing that we also built this from the ground up, again, as a small county horsemen's association.
Okay. All right. Very good. Now, as a rodeo, as a week-long weekend entity, talk about some of the other activities that are going on.
Okay. So our rodeo is held the 4th Saturday in August. That's what we've done all 6 years. It's hot in Florida in August, but it's before football season and it's right when school is starting back. So as a professional, my job, something that I've always done is I've tried to focus on family engagement within my community. So in my volunteer life, I'm able to do that with my rodeo, knowing that families have a tradition to look forward to every year as we're getting back into school, ideally back into routines. We can look forward to coming and attending our annual rodeo. So while we don't have a fair or anything going on with our rodeo, we know that it's an annual tradition for our county now to host this rodeo. And it's just a really good time for families to come together, bring their kids out knowing it's going to be a good, wholesome entertainment event. We do have vendors. We've got folks who have been with us all 6 years. This year we did bring on a couple new ones, but we've got, just a good opportunity for families to come out and spend time together before they get really into fall sports and all things like that. So keeping it in August has been really big for us.
Okay, good. Talk about some of your future plans. What are some future plans in this?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, our county has been a big support, in particular this past year or this past August for our rodeo, and our county wants to see it grow even larger. So does that mean bringing in a county fair or something like that? That's kind of in the talks, in the realm of possibilities. So we do want to see that grow. When we grow events, that means growing the venue. So sometimes it's, looking, taking a bigger outside inward look and seeing how we can grow. We can't build more land, but we do have really cool spaces. As I mentioned, we're a pretty rural agriculture community. So we're blessed with good places and good spaces within our county.
Very good. Very good. All right, listen, I want to know what you feel like makes your rodeo special.
So like I mentioned, our rodeo was birthed from a small county horsemen's association. We wanted to share our love for rodeo with our community who may never get to leave and see it. And I feel we've been able to do that really well. This past year, we were able to hand out scholarships for some of our seniors who have been with us through our saddle club, but we were also able to pay support to our local 4-H clubs. We've got some up and coming really good clubs who are growing some really good kids who are learning some really great things. And so for us being able to provide that support right back into our community has been really big. And that's something that our rodeo and our saddle club were both very proud of this year.
Oh, very good. Very good. Anything else you want to add before we give you a little chance to promo next year's event?
No, I would just encourage those who are considering bringing a rodeo into your community, whether it's big or small, do it. It's work, it's long hours, but when you have a love and an appreciation for rodeo, for the Western way of life, for what rodeo means, it's worth it when you can see families who are excited to see this annual event and tradition come back year after year. So I encourage you to see it through.
Perfect. I love it. Thank you so much for being on with us. And guys, man, check out Big Bend Rodeo. They're in Florida next year. Thank you so much for being on with us, Charlotte.
Thank you.
Hey, we have Julie Beck from the Mount Olive Area Chamber of Commerce, and they have an event coming up called Pickles, Pigs, and Swigs. This one sounds good. Julie, thanks for joining us. Give us a little background on you. Where'd you grow up? And talk a little bit about your family and career first.
Yeah, I grew up in Ohio, went to college in Ohio. And then after I graduated from college, I decided to move south. And I've been down south in North Carolina for almost 40 years now, a long time.
Wow.
But I'm still a Midwest gal, no matter what. I'm still a Midwest gal.
Okay. All right. Very good. And you've been with the Chamber for how long?
Yes, I've been almost 11 years working with the Chamber of Commerce. And besides working with all the local businesses, one of my other tasks is working with all the big community events in town.
Okay. Why did the Chamber, let's talk Chamber business for a little bit. Why did the Chamber take that under their umbrella of doing events?
Well, before I even came to the Chamber, I think they realized that somebody had to take the lead of organizing events because it builds a sense of pride in our community, a sense of belonging. It obviously has economic impact, and it just brings our community together. So I think the Chamber was involved in that Ironically, one of my degrees, I have a master's in event planning and travel and tourism. So I'm very much interested in that. So I've probably grown that whole row and included more events than we've ever had just because I'm passionate about events.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. Let's jump into this particular event and then we'll come back and talk more chamber business. Pickles, Pigs, and Swigs. Give us the lowdown. When is it? Where is it? And what can people expect?
Yeah, so Pickles, Pigs, and Swigs, kind of a funny name. It's going to be this Saturday, November 9th, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. in downtown Mile Olive, North Carolina. It's a barbecue cook-off that's connected with the North Carolina Pork Council. We'll have 15 cook teams, each cooking a 100-pound pig. And then they'll do that on Friday throughout the night. And then on Saturday, we'll, of course, chop up all that barbecue and sell barbecue sandwiches and barbecue by the pound. We'll have 2 stages of entertainment. We will have pickle train rides because in Mount Olive, we are home of Mount Olive Pickle Company. And so we actually have pickle barrels from the pickle company that we made into a pickle train. It's really geared toward high school students. It's really geared toward students, but obviously the adults love it as much as anybody. And we'll have a mechanical bull. We'll have cornhole. We're going to have some vendors, of course. We'll have a classic car cruise in. So we have all kinds of activities happening. But the Pickles, Pigs, and Swigs, the Pickles, of course, is Mount Olive Pickle Company. The Pigs is the barbecue cook-off. And then, of course, the Swigs is beer. We have our own brewery in town called R&R Brewery, and they make pickle beer called Pickletown Lagers. So we're all about the pickles in Mount Olive.
Wow, for sure. Absolutely. How long has this event been going on?
This is actually only the 4th year of this event. In the spring, we host the North Carolina Pickle Festival. So we've had a signature event in Mount Olive for almost 40 years in the spring. And 4 years ago, we decided we should start a signature event in the fall. And thus we came up with Pickles, Pigs, and Swigs. One thing that's unique about Pickles, Pigs, and Swigs, besides the name, is that the money that we raise is going toward our downtown for revitalization. So we made that decision very early on that we wanted to make sure that this money went to downtown revitalization. And of course, this event is held in the downtown. So I really like that idea.
Yeah. So update us a little bit. Give us an idea. What percent of people come into town that are from out of town for this?
So we bring in about 4,000 to 5,000 people, not a lot, but our population of our town is 4,500. So it's about the size of our town. Most of them, I would say, would be more local people. Unlike our pickle festival in the spring, we will bring in 60,000 people to the event in the spring, and probably 75% of them come from out of state in the springtime event.
Very good. So definitely a chance for people from outside your area to really see what the Mount Olive area has to offer and attract those businesses. Let's go back to the chamber now. Let's talk about the chamber as a unit. You guys seem to be a little bit more focused on events and community activities than some chambers. Talk about your membership. Let's talk about your membership and what you guys do for them.
Yeah, so we have about 125 members in our chamber. Most of them are from Mount Olive, although we do have a few from the surrounding area. First and foremost, we're all about promoting our businesses and helping to drive traffic to their businesses, and then also to improve the quality of life in Mount Olive. So when we have these events, it does help our businesses, our chamber members, because people are not only coming to the festival, while they're in town, let me go shopping, let me eat at a local restaurant, let me gas up my car. So it is a win-win for everyone involved. And our chamber members love all these different events that happen in our town because it is really bringing in a lot of people. And as you mentioned earlier, it exposes our community to other people who come and never been to Mount Olive before. Our town is kind of unique because we have a train track that runs right down through the middle of town. And so in the middle of any of our events, we have to pause every time because here comes a train. But that is how our town started. In 1870, our town was started because there was a train track in town, and people began to pass through, and then they began to settle around the train track, and lo and behold, in 1870, we became incorporated as a town. So we, not too long ago, celebrated our town being 150 years old, and that is a huge part of our community. And a lot of our businesses are centered on Center Street, which are right in the middle of the train, by the train track. So it all kind of ties together.
Yeah, no, I love that. What are some things you guys are looking for in the future?
Well, our town receives several grants recently, and we're working on trying to create a farmer's market. We also have hired a couple consultants to come and help us create a new plan for downtown revitalization. We recently added some new park benches, some banners. We also added some huge flower pots, and we've recently in the last couple of years, we had 2 murals. We're in the process of adding 2 more murals in our downtown. And we did a really cool event last month. We had a block party in our town. We have the University of Mount Olive, and we invited the college students to come downtown and mingle with our residents, our citizens of Mount Olive. And we had food trucks, and we had music and pickle train rides. And oh my gosh, we had more people come than we ever expected. It was a great event, and it was a good way to build those town gown relationships and to introduce our college students that we do have a downtown. Most of them have said, I've never been to downtown Mount Olive. And so that was quite an eye-opener to us to think, oh, wow, they've never been to our downtown. So we would definitely continue doing some more events like the block party.
Yeah. So what are you most proud of about your Chamber of Commerce?
I'm proud that our chamber is giving back to the community in many different ways, whether it's promoting businesses or bringing tourists to our community. I think our chamber plays a very vital role. I often say we can't do what we do if we don't work with the town officials, and the town officials can't do what they do if they don't work with the Chamber of Commerce. So we have a great rapport. I feel like I'm always in and out talking to some of the town administrators. When we plan an event, those town administrators are on my committees. So they are very much in tune about what's happening, what's going on. And we definitely work together. And I think that's what's so successful about our chamber, is having these great partnerships with the University of Mount Olive, with the town officials, with the business owners. And it's all about partnerships and having the same goal in mind to make a great community to live, work, and play in.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Anything else you want to add for us today?
Well, Pickles, Pigs, and Swigs is a fun event. People come to it. They have a hard time saying Pickles, Pigs, and Swigs. That title was created by our mayor. But now I've said it so much, it just runs off the tip of my tongue. But it's a lot of fun. Again, I think the thing I like the most about it is it generates revenue for our downtown and our revitalization. And also recently we added the Arts Council to our town. So again, we're trying to incorporate more arts, more events. And I just think it makes a great event for our community. That's just a small town.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Very good. Very good. Well, thank you so much for being on with us today, Julie. I appreciate it greatly.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a
rise above positivity, that's the key to live a life